What's up, guys? This is the first official installment of Ness-XT. I'm your host, True Hill Ness. Just want to give a quick shout out to my Toxic Chamber True Hill brother, SP3, for bringing me on to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel team. Greatly appreciate it. Just want to give a quick shout out to everyone on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel team. The original OG True Hill Heat podcast team of SP3, Top Guy JJ, Miss Christy Love, and Baby Seth. Also a quick shout out to my other fellow new segment co-hosts, other segment hosts of Romeo Anthony Cologne with the Romeo Report, that overnight sensation. A little bit of biased reporting going on, but great reporting nonetheless, because there's none of that BS. That Brad Shepard, fuck that guy. Moving on to the next segment, big shout out to Drunk Guy JJ with Going Raw with Drunk Guy JJ. Get to see him die once a week, because if Raw sucks, he has to take a shot for every shitty segment, and that's tough. Kudos to you for doing such a dirty job, Drunk Guy JJ. Also, shout out to Jimmy and Cash with the AEW Dynamite reviews. I believe that's going to start up this week. If you haven't already, actually, Jimmy and Cash have their own YouTube channel. You should go over there and check that out. Subscribe and like the videos. They do reviews on that channel. As example, their Power reviews. And I know a lot of you niggas like Power. So go over there and show love to that channel. And also, you can catch SP3 with the 3 count, 3 times a week, with 3 topics of discussion, just like breaking news. So with that being said, what we're all here for, again, this is the first official installment of Ness-XT. This is going to be the Takeover edition. We're going to call this the Takeover because we're here to talk about NXT Takeover War Games that just happened this past weekend in Chicago. Phenomenal show from top to bottom. Can't really praise the NXT roster anymore. This past weekend they just put on 2 back-to-back phenomenal shows. First NXT Takeover War Games, and then went back out there the next night with NXT, it basically was NXT Survivor Series, but WWE Survivor Series, where NXT shined that night as well. But, back to the main focus of NXT TakeOver War Games. Let's get right into it, man. The show started off with a great match on the pre-show between Angel Garza and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Both guys came out of this match looking very well. Just the key points of the match in favor of each opponent. First, Angel Garza, he's extremely charismatic, and he came out of this match with the win, looking very good. Isaiah Swerve Scott, that's one of my low-key favorites on the NXT roster. He's just so cool, also charismatic, but not a loud charismatic, just a laid back and cool charismatic. The match started off with a show of one-upsmanship, sort of like traditional lucha libre, with both men trying to outdo his opponent. Counter strikes, some hold strikes, pin attempt strikes, and then the traditional stalemate. They're both staring at each other, and the crowd was starting to go wild a little bit. Just the energy, the right type of energy that was needed to get the takeover crowd into it, and get them amped up for the show that was going to go on. A couple key spots from this match that I liked from Isaiah Swerve Scott. He was going for like a tope con hilo, transitioned into a handstand, Frankensteiner combination towards the beginning of the match. I think that was really dope. Again, I'm a huge fan of lucha libre, so things like that, the over the top explosive moves, I'm all for it, man. Also, in favor of Isaiah Swerve Scott, there was another spot between the two where Swerve hit Angel Garza with a Death Valley driver on the apron. You know, the hardest part of the ring. Those type of moves always dangerous, yet bring the suspense to the match. You know, right after he hit the Death Valley driver, he hits Angel Garza with the Swerve Stomp. You know, right after onto the outside floor. Real damaging, real powerful. You know, it looked like it hurt a lot. So, a spot that I enjoyed from Angel Garza was like a rebound rolling power bomb. You know, if you're familiar with Private Party and their Silly String, and or the wrestler Bandito from ROH's 21 Plex, you know, this is where these guys like flip on the rope, rebound back, and then perform a move. This time, Angel Garza rebound off the rope, but hit Swerve with a power bomb. It was just a really dope spot. Ultimately, Angel Garza got the win. You know, he tried to go for a low blow. Isaiah Swerve Scott was ahead of Angel Garza in that moment. Reversed the low blow. Tried to go for a kick of his own. Garza then reversed that, you know, then hit Isaiah Swerve Scott with the wing clipper, pick up the win. Like I said, it was a very great opening match, something that was needed to get the crowd into it and to get them amped up for the show. Guys didn't go over the top, you know, trying to do too much, more than what they needed. So I think that was a really good match. I give like a B+. Both guys are going to be key components to the NXT roster within the next couple of months. You both see they're being groomed for very prominent spots on the roster. Angel Garza is pretty much in a feud with Lio Rush. Probably might be the next NXT champion. I'm sorry, NXT Cruiserweight champion, or just WWE Cruiserweight champion. It's pretty much exclusive to NXT now. Might as well be the NXT Cruiserweight champion. But moving on, my personal match of the night, the NXT Women's War Game match between Team Ripley and Team Baszler. Team Baszler consists of NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler, NXT UK Women's Champion Kaylee Ray, Bianca Belair, and Io Shirai. Team Ripley consisted of Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Tegan Knox. It was initially supposed to be Mia Yim on Team Ripley, but an unknown assailant attacked Mia Yim at the beginning of the Takeover show, and she was not able to actually be in the match. So at that point, Rhea Ripley, made a executive decision to put Dakota Kai in the spot. You know, who knew what was going on? You know, who knew if it was Team Baszler trying to get one up before this gruesome match was supposed to happen, or who knows? There's brand supremacy of SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. It might have been a SmackDown superstar or Raw superstar taking out Mia Yim because she was supposed to be a part of the 5-on-5 elimination match the next night at Survivor Series. So again, Dakota Kai was offered a spot. She was really reluctant at first because, neither team wanted her. So she really wasn't jumping at the bit to be on either team. But, Rhea Ripley fired her up and made her want to be, gave her the confidence to be on Team Ripley. So the match starts off with Io Shirai and Candice LeRae, which was a great little tidbit that I appreciated because both of these ladies have a little history. They were the best of friends until Io Shirai turned on Candice LeRae, and I think that was even more part of the storytelling that was great for this match. With winning the ladder match between herself and Mia Yim, Io Shirai, Team Baszler, receive the first entrant, the first member of their team to enter on the War Games. It was Bianca Belair. You know, Bianca Belair comes in. They're jumping Io Shirai. I'm sorry, I keep saying Io Shirai and Bianca Belair pretty much beating up Candice LeRae until team captain Rhea Ripley comes in for her team. She comes in ready for a fucking fight. She brings in all these weapons and in the process takes out Bianca Belair. Another thing that I appreciated from commentary was at this point Rhea Ripley hits like a belly to back front face slam onto Bianca Belair onto a trash can, you know, and then Morrow talks about how Bianca Belair used to have abdominal issues while she was in college, you know, as a collegiate athlete. You know, I really appreciated that because it added to the drama of the match. There was the physicality and then the backstory onto why that physicality onto Bianca Belair would be so damaging. You know, like, again, I really appreciated that. Next, Kaylee Ray comes in, giving Team Baszler the upper hand for quite some time. Now it's time for another member of Team Ripley to enter the match. At this point, it looked like it was about to be team member Dakota Kai, but as soon as the cage opens to let her into the match, Dakota Kai snaps, turns heel on her best friend Tegan Nox, and just goes crazy. So crazy that the NXT roster officials come out to try to stop her. NXT general manager William Regal himself comes out, tries to stop Dakota Kai, you know, and she even gets with him, you know. It's just so crazy. We all probably pretty much knew that there was going to be a heel turn. In my unofficial episode, I tried to call this. You guys won't see the light of day of that, but just know that I, you know, called it. I'm pretty sure everybody knew it was coming. It's not even the fact that it was predictable. It was just executed so well. You know, again, like I said, Dakota Kai initially wasn't invited on either one of these teams because she was deemed as the weak link. So I'm pretty sure that's the way they're gonna go with the storyline and the reason why she turned heel. But it was done so well that even if you knew it was gonna happen, you still were shocked when it happened. You know, and that's some of the stuff that you can expect and appreciate for the NXT roster, just their brand and the product that they put out. So with that happening, Team Baszler captain Shayna Baszler enters the match. At this point, the match officially starts. You know, once War Games has all the individuals and opponents in the match are out of their cages, that the match officially starts. The fact that Tegan Nox was taken out and Dakota Kai is like turned on her team, you know, it's just Rhea Ripley and Candice LeRae battling out against Team Baszler, all four members of Team Baszler. But as classic babyface booking and, you know, getting the show done right, Team Rhea Ripley comes out with the win when Rhea Ripley handcuffs herself to Shayna Baszler and hits her with the riptide on a pair of set-up chairs. I think that was a dope spot and a great way to end the match. You know, it came out it made Rhea Ripley this weekend. You know, she looked great in this match. She looked like a legit badass, and she's in line, probably going to be the one to take the NXT Women's title off of Shayna Baszler. There was a couple spots in this match. Io Shirai with the moonsault off the top of the cage. There was a Tower of Doom spot where Rhea Ripley power bombs. What was it? Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray, and in the process of power bombing those two ladies, they take out Candice LeRae in the process. You know, it was just a crazy spot, and it was onto a pile of chairs that were laid out in the ring. And right after that, actually, Rhea Ripley gets hit with one of the cleanest 450 splashes I've ever seen by Bianca Belair. You know, like I said, these ladies went out there and killed it. You know, I'm pretty sure everybody enjoyed this match. This was personally my match of the night. And kudos to the ladies for going out there and putting on one hell of a match. You know, they set the tone as far as War Games goes that night. So, big shout out to the ladies on that, man. Next up was the triple threat match between Pete Dunne, Damien Priest, and Killian Dain. I had my money on Pete Dunne, obviously. You know, just not really going to get into the match itself. Just a few parts of each of individual that was involved in the match. Pete Dunne's joint manipulation, you know, his striking and technical wrestling going on in the match. You know, every individual in this match played to the strengths of their style. You know, Pete Dunne did his style. His high flying when necessary. Moving on to Damien Priest, you know, he showed that he's going to be a prominent big man in the NXT roster, you know, and I really was impressed with his striking ability. He's extremely quick for a guy his size, you know. He still has like a little bit of work to, I feel, in certain areas, but as far as his striking and his power game, and even his high flying, you know, this guy's like 6'6", 6'7", and he's diving over the top rope and flying all around the ring like he's a cruiserweight. You know, I always enjoyed that type of style for the big men because it's really impressive. You know, guys that size, they can move that quick and go through the air. You know, that's really dope. Also, Killian Dain, he played up to the strength of being pretty much a behemoth, you know, a legit monster, and his powerhouse moves and just throwing himself around the ring and caution, just, you know, literally using his weight as a weapon and his body as a weapon onto both individuals in this match. And again, a couple spots from this match that I liked. There was one Killian Dain hits a tope suicida onto Damien Priest and then follows it up with a cannonball, wiping Damien Priest out and the barricade in the process. It was also a spot that I enjoyed from Pete Dunne and Damien Priest. You know, they're doing the corner running striking attacks, pretty much trying to one up each other. Damien Priest runs and hits Pete Dunne in the corner. Then he's running back and then just jumps over the top turnbuckle and like reminiscent old school Undertaker with a diving tope suicida. Not like recent Undertaker, the old school Undertaker when he used to dive over the top ropes. That's the type of feeling that I got from that. You know, that was pretty dope. Again, Pete Dunne picked up the win, and he went to go face NXT champion Adam Cole the next night at Survivor Series, that was definitely the match of the night at Survivor Series. NXT roster taking over 2 nights in a row. Yeah, so shout out to Pete Dunne, Damien Priest, and Killian Dain for that match. After that, it was Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor. It was originally supposed to be Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor took out Johnny Gargano weeks prior to NXT Takeover. Matt Riddle stepped up and said, you know, you're back talking all this shit. You know, you're Raw and SmackDown Finn Balor. We want the NXT Finn Balor. We want, you know, the Prince, the guy that really mattered, not this glitz and glamour having ass pansy, you know. And Finn Balor's back with a new attitude. He's, you know, seems like he's going back to his old ways as, you know, the Prince Devitt, type of gimmick, but you know, I was here for this match. It started off with some good technical mat wrestling and submission wrestling that you really don't get to see out of Finn as much anymore. I'm glad that Matt Riddle was the one to bring it back out of him. A couple spots that I enjoyed from Matt Riddle. There was a final flash spot, and then he hits Finn Balor with a stalling gut wrench. No, I'm sorry, a stalling deadlift German suplex. You know, that's one of my favorite moves in general. The deadlift German suplex. It just shows how much power and how much torque it takes to deadlift your opponent off the ground and then to go into a bridging German suplex. That was pretty dope. Finn Balor looked decent, like real good, trying to take out Matt Riddle during the match. He was wearing him down for a good amount of the match. There was that ending spot where they were just countering each other. Finn Balor ends up hitting the 1916 Bloody Sunday onto Matt Riddle and picking up the win. Again, both these guys went out there, had a bang up of a match. Can't really say anything bad about it, you know. They played off their strength. They really didn't have as much time as the other matches to get promotion, but it still was one of the better matches. All the matches were great at TakeOver, and this was another good singles match. You know, the few singles matches that happened on that card that night. And getting into the main event, the men's War Games match. It was another bang up of a match. You know, went out there, a lot of carnage, a lot of mayhem. Going into the match, it was Team Undisputed Era versus Team Ciampa, with members Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominik Dijakovic, and the special mystery partner of their choosing. You know, at first it was just seemed like there really wasn't going to be anybody else to help out Team Ciampa, with Matt Riddle facing Finn Balor. That's opening a spot on Team Ciampa. We'll get into that in a second. The match starts off with Keith Lee and what's Keith Lee? Sorry, I'm sorry guys. Let me refer to my notes. Just make sure. Yeah, see, I knew I was wrong for a second. I was tripping. The match starts off with Tommaso Ciampa and Roderick Strong. You know, so these guys go to war. Next enters Kyle O'Reilly enters the match. You know, giving the Undisputed Era the advantage for a while. Next enters Dominik Dijakovic, you know, bringing Team Ciampa back, giving them a fair advantage to take on the Undisputed Era. Next is Bobby Fish. He enters the match, you know, giving Undisputed Era the upper hand once more. And finally, Keith Lee enters the match and you know, giving Team Ciampa another fighting chance. Finally, Adam Cole, Bay, enters the match. So, the Undisputed Era is fully in the match, you know, and they're taking over. It's really looking like there's no hope for Team Ciampa to get this win. You know, they don't even know if they're gonna have their fourth member even come out and join the fray, you know. But all of a sudden, it's that time for that fourth Team Ciampa member to come out, and it's none other than Raw superstar, former NXT superstar, Kevin Owens. If you're familiar with Raw last Monday, the Undisputed Era during the NXT invasion, they jumped Kevin Owens. You know, again, that was great storytelling during the match that, you know, they played back to those guys jumping Kevin Owens and he coming out to help Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, and Dominik Dijakovic to eventually pick up this win. The ending spot of this match was so fucking crazy. Tommaso Ciampa hits an air raid crash onto Adam Cole from the top of the War Games cage through a set of tables. You know, it was so fucking crazy that they panned to the crowd to see the quote-unquote most shocked person, and that most shocked person was none other than Adam Cole's girlfriend, aka Britt Baker, AEW women's roster superstar. You know, she looked like she was devastated because that was some devastating shit. There was a lot of carnage and mayhem during this match. These guys went out there, you know, showed the world why NXT is the supreme brand in the WWE right now, you know, and then turned around and went out there the next night on Survivor Series and showed them why they are the superior brand of wrestling in the World Wrestling Entertainment Company. So this was my NXT Takeover War Games recap review. Leave a like, drop some comments, what you thought was the match of the night, what parts that you guys really enjoyed. Personally, again, my match of the night was the women's War Games, because they went out there and showed that they're just as tough as the men, just as tough as the main roster. You know, just went out there and did their thing. Everyone did their thing. The show was phenomenal from top to bottom. So just want to hear you guys' feedback. Also, if you're on Facebook, like the True Heel Heat Facebook fan page. If you're into wrestling groups, join the our Facebook wrestling group, True Heels. If you're on Instagram, follow us at True Heels LLC. And if you are on Twitter, follow us at True Heel Heat. Make sure you're dropping the likes. Subscribe, guys. This is just the first episode. Thanks for sitting here and you know, listening to my reviews, listening to my opinions on wrestling. And it's greatly appreciated. So, till next time, stay cool.